every Star Wars fan has a little piece of headcanon that they subscribe to. It could be big or it could be small, but everybody has at least one. Ironically enough, the two things I'm reading right now, Darth Plagueis and the Jedi Apprentice books, are two pretty big things that people actually subscribe to as a piece of their headcanon. The most obvious piece of headcanon in Star Wars history is that Han shoots first. Of course, in the movie he doesn't shoot first, but in the eyes of many fans he does. And the other really big one is that Boba Fett survives his encounter with the Sarlacc pit. Now, I'm not quite through enough with Darth Plagueis, and I haven't even come close to reading the rest of the Jedi Apprentice books, but I do have a piece of headcanon that I subscribe to. And no, it's not Boba Fett surviving the Sarlacc pit. Han, though, Han's an interesting case. For me, I think that Han is at least just a little bit Force sensitive.
Okay. Hear me out. One of the first things we learn about Han in A New Hope is that the Force is not a reality for Han. He's lucky, or at least that's what he calls it.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
I guess you do have to be pretty lucky to fly the Millennium Falcon around for a decade and not get shot down. Or you could be Force sensitive. Look at it this way. Han is as good of a pilot as Anakin or Luke, if not better. Anakin and Luke relied on their strength in the Force to help them survive the battles that they were caught in. For whatever reason, the link between being a powerful Force user and being an excellent pilot has always been relevant in Star Wars. Growing up on Corellia, Han's father supposedly built YT-1300s, but we don't know if Han himself actually flew them at a young age, which is unlikely. But when we meet him in Solo, it's evident that he's an excellent pilot. He hops right into an M68 speeder and flies it great, and then later steps to the controls of the Falcon and never misses a beat. This mirrors almost exactly how we see Anakin in Episode 1, hopping right into a Naboo starfighter and pilot it like he knew how to the whole time. And the same goes for Luke in A New Hope. He hops right into an X-Wing during the Battle of Yavin, and well, the rest is history. It's also noteworthy to say that Han was also an excellent starship racer. At some point after Endor, he ends up owning his own team. Apparently, he won a lot of races too, which sounds eerily like another racer we knew to use his Force sensitivity to help him win races. Let's also mention that the Millennium Falcon is essentially a 1970s 18-wheeler with a NASCAR engine and a couple of military-grade batteries on the top and the bottom. It's been shot at 1 million times. And by the way, the characters in your universe, they all seem to be surprised that it even runs, let alone flies.
What a piece of junk!
But Han seems to be the only guy that can handle it on his own with Chewie. Lando's droid, L337, didn't even let him fly his own ship for the most part because he wasn't good enough. And that was when it was in good shape. When Lando pilots the Falcon again during the Battle of Endor, he takes a whole crew with him to fly. But Han and Chewie held the ship together through most of the war just by themselves. And lastly, let me also say that Han always has bad feelings about things. I don't have numbers on this, however, I bet Star Wars Super Graphic probably has something on it. But I'm almost certain Han says, I have a bad feeling about this the most times out of anyone in the trilogy. Not that it means anything, but always having a predominant feeling about things sounds awfully like someone that can sense the future. Just some food for thought there. If Han was a bit Force sensitive, I would imagine it wouldn't be very much. Obviously not enough to perform acts of telekinesis, but just enough to have enhanced reflexes and see events before they happen. I imagine his level of Force sensitivity is like Anakin during the pod race. It's instinctual, not so much controllable. Which is why he'd still be a big denier in the Force. He doesn't see any reason to believe it. I think Han has about the same view as everybody else does on the Force.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
So to him, it's very black and white. But he doesn't realize that this whole time, he's been tapping into it instinctually to help him fly in skirmishes with the Empire. Now, I know this isn't true. Han isn't Force sensitive, otherwise we would have known by now. Disney has never confirmed this, and there's nothing in Legends to back me up. I know when to take the L. But that's why it's fun headcanon. What is or isn't strictly canon shouldn't restrict our imaginations from running free. Star Wars is all about imagining stories from a galaxy far, far away. Let me know some of your favorite pieces of Star Wars headcanon. And until next time, I'll see you later.